Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Absolutely Podcast, the podcast specifically designed to help women defeat diet culture and to live their dream healthy lifestyle. On today's podcast episode, I'm going to be talking about the kill phase when it comes to a gut health protocol. And I totally remember people talking about this even a couple years back when it wasn't as common to be talking about gut health and it wasn't kind of on everybody's lips. And I remember thinking that the word kill phase sounded so scary or startling, and I just had no idea what it was. So in today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down what it is, if you need one, if you need to be testing to see if you should be a candidate for this, and also to like what to expect during a kill phase protocol and how it actually isn't as scary as it sounds. It actually can be extremely helpful. And I am currently doing my own kill protocol right now. And I have a few clients as well that honestly, the results speak for themselves when it comes to killing off this bad bacteria. And what a lot of people don't know, and I know that if you've listened to other episodes of mine where I've talked about gut health and my journey and stuff, you know how important the gut is. But it's so important to make sure that these bad bacteria, you aren't giving it a chance to grow in your body because it's not going to allow other systems in your body to thrive. And of course, your gut health is so important with that. So I'm really excited to chat about that today and kind of go into the nitty gritty about kill protocols, what to expect if you need one, timeline, all of that fun stuff, and just kind of nerd out with you on that topic. But before I get into the kind of meat and potatoes of the episode, I want to kind of give a little weekly recap, go over my high and low for the week. And honestly, this week was just such a whirlwind. I know on last episode, I chatted about my birthday week. I had a ton of different celebrations and it was super fun. And then it was kind of a come down last week, honestly, from that, just getting back to work and regular scheduled programming. I got all of my workouts in, hit my macros, started a kill protocol last week, hence the timeliness of this episode today. So there was just a lot of moving parts as far as last week went, as far as my health journey and work journey and stuff. And I will say, just with health and fitness content currently, feeling like a little bit of like I'm in a content rut right now. So maybe that's kind of my low of the week. I'm just not feeling super inspired. So when I was trying to come up for today's podcast episode, I was like going through, of course, I asked chat, like, hey, like, what are some podcast episode ideas? But just know, like, even if it feels like I have it all together, sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to talk about macros for the 1 billion trillionth time. And I've been now with doing this business for 5 years now. I've been coaching women for 5 years, which is actually crazy. Started in 2021. And I will say, yeah, you get to a point where you're like, I don't want to chat about some of these subjects. And so I think it's so important to be constantly evolving and learning new things. And I'm really happy that this gut health situation came into my life, even though maybe it wasn't the most fun of circumstances and having to kind of go through it myself. But I feel like it's allowed me a kind of a refresh with my perspective on things and with different kind of knowledge and being able to help clients out in different ways. And I am really happy about that, but definitely feeling like I was in kind of a bit of a content rut for not even just like the past week now or but past few weeks. And I never want to come on social media and complain like I'm in a content rut. Like no one cares. But when your job is to create content and to be on social media and stuff, and you're just like it's not even just not feeling it. It's like creatively just burned out. It's a little bit difficult. And I don't want to say those words over myself. I'm not burned out. I think I just need to create content based on things that I'm very passionate about and excited about. And this is one thing that I am very, very excited about and having a lot of fun with. And it's been fun to also like switch up my coaching with this and integrate this. And of course, like I still have my bread and butter program with macros and just, I would say like more so like normal fitness coaching, but now I have this next tier of like the functional health coaching too, which has been really fun to add to the equation. But that was kind of a low of the week, just like feeling like I was in a little bit of a rut / just getting back into routine and just feeling a little bit blah and having a little bit of like a birthday week come down, if you will. But there were also so many highs of last week. I feel like I was so locked in Monday through Thursday, extremely locked in, which is fabulous. Friday night, I went to a new dinner spot with my sister and my mom. My dad was out of town last couple weeks. My mom was like, hey, let's go out to dinner a few times this weekend. And so that's always fun. I love, honestly, now that I have a really healthy relationship with food, and I've had one for a while now, since I started my business, it's so fun to be able to go explore in restaurants and try new things and have new foods and not feel like I have this like restrictive mentality around being adventurous with food and stuff like I maybe did before. And so we went to this new restaurant that I literally drive by all the time. It was really, really, really yummy though. It's called Toro. It's in Scottsdale and it is really good. It was like kind of like a sushi, but like also like Latin American vibe restaurant. The star of the show of this restaurant was the margarita that they had there. It's hard to put into words. I took a photo of it and I don't think I posted it on my social media, but you maybe saw it if you follow my personal account. It was like this hibiscus spicy, like orange drink on the bottom. And then there was like a frothy pink thing on top. It was very girly. And I typically don't order from a specialty drink menu. Just fun fact, I'm like very much so stick with my tried and true skinny marg, tried and true glass of wine, dirty martini, whatever. But we were really feeling adventurous this night. So decided to get the specialty cocktail and it was really good. And our server there was very excited about his job. And so we were like laughing about that. And he was really nice. But it was honestly just like a really good experience and was really fun to go there. The next day I had one of my women's golf events. So that was super fun. We had a bunch of ladies at a simulator. Basically, like obviously there's like outdoor golfing and there's simulator golfing, so indoor golfing. And I did like a sip and swing event. So I got a bunch of wine and I went to Costco the day before, you guys. Almost had a nervous breakdown. Like the Costco here for some reason is actually painful to go to. There are so many people. It's just a disaster. And I honestly, like I'm not an event coordinator. I guess maybe now I am, but I just wanted to like go get some bottles of wine, a little cheese board, like easy stuff. I was like, this will be a very easy mission. I was sweating by the time I left Costco. I was like about to have a nervous breakdown. It was fine. I'm being dramatic, but sip and swing was really, really fun. So we had wine and cheese and stuff and had a bunch of ladies out and did that. So that was really fun on Saturday, but it was kind of like prepping for that all day. And then we went to dinner that night. I was like, it was late at night and I was like, I need to get some food because I had literally no food at my house. And then Sunday morning, I went golfing with one of my other friends that I met in my group and that was so fun. I love her. And it was just seriously such a fun day. And then I was done around like 1 p.m. So literally just relaxed and I watched The Age of Attraction all day. And I have been loving that show. Oh my gosh, it is crazy. I like to think if I was on Age of Attraction, I would know if I was talking to a 60-year-old man, not because of like how they look necessarily. Of course, you can have like context clues of how someone looks, but I feel like I can pick up on how old someone is based on what they like to talk about. Like I feel like just different inside jokes and things going on in culture, like you would kind of know if someone was like 60 years old. So basically the concept of the show, but by the way, if you haven't watched it, is they have a bunch of people in this retreat. They're all ages and basically want them to fall in love. But the only thing you can't ask them is how old they are. So you get to a point where you like select the person that you want to be with and then they reveal their age to you. And this one girl was my age. She was like 27 and the guy she matched with was 60. Like that's insane. But I like to think I wouldn't put myself in that compromising position, but they seem to like not care. And then, spoiler alert, they fizzled out. But I watched that all day yesterday and did client programming and that was really fun. And then went to another new dinner restaurant spot last night, which was kind of crazy. I don't normally go out to eat this much, but it was a fun weekend nonetheless. And we went to this place called Jing and it's new. It's also in Scottsdale and it's kind of like Asian fusion. So good. It was like a really fun experience. So did that and then came home last night, watched a little bit more of Age of Attraction and went to bed. And like went to bed with my cup so filled socially. I feel like I've been in such like a social era. I know I've talked about this on my podcast a couple times that it's just been kind of a fun social era for me. Also though, just like busy with my businesses and doing a lot of different stuff. So anyways, that's kind of my weekend recap. And now let's get into the kill phase, what it is, if you need one, and all of the nitty gritty details on that. So let's first talk about what a kill phase is. So, in any sort of gut health protocol, there are going to be different phases. So, there, for at least when I go through a gut health protocol phase, or I'm leading a client through a gut health protocol phase, they go through a prep phase, a kill phase, and a repair phase. And so we're going to be basically talking about this kill phase specifically, and potentially I'll do episodes down the road on the other two phases. But basically, what a kill phase is killing off the bad bacteria in your gut. So when it comes to gut health, you have good bacteria in your gut and you have bad bacteria in your gut. And you might also have certain things like H. pylori and SIBO and maybe like E. coli and stuff. Like, of course, you don't want these things to be overgrown in your gut. Candida is also a big one that a lot of people have. So you don't want those things overgrowing in your gut because you can for sure have symptoms from that. For me, I was having really big digestive symptoms. I was having mental health symptoms, energy wise, hormonal wise. There's a lot of different things that can happen when you do have an overgrowth of bad bacteria or just bacteria that's not supposed to be there, and just kind of overall having dysbiosis in your gut too, which is kind of like a different sector. I'm just going to talk about the kill phase here today. There's so many fun things though when it comes to gut health. When one of these things is overgrown and when you are experiencing an excess of a negative bacteria like H. pylori or Candida, you are going to start probably to experience negative symptoms from that. And so you can have a whole host of things. It doesn't have to just be digestion, though. It can be things like energy levels. You can have weight loss resistance. You can have mood changes. You can have hormonal changes that are negative. And so it's really important to know that like gut health isn't just limited to like how frequent you're going to the bathroom, or like you don't have to have dramatic like diarrhea or bloating or constipation. Like it also could be other symptoms that are also probably woven in with your digestion. Like some people just think it's normal to like not go to the bathroom every single day, or think it's normal to have diarrhea when they eat certain foods. And like those things aren't normal. I think they've been normalized in society, but the reason why you could potentially have some of these symptoms is because of these bad bacterias in your gut that are wreaking havoc. And so it's really important to be able to, number one, test for these. When I'm giving out this information here, it's based on knowing that you have this bad bacteria in your gut. You can't just guess. You can't just be like, well, I think I might have Candida, or I think I might have H. pylori. Like you really shouldn't guess when it comes to this, because each bacteria that you have does have a slightly different kill protocol to it, because you can't just kind of have a blanket protocol, and everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's body responds a little bit different. And so, of course, this is just like general advice. Talk to your doctor. But I think it's really important to know that everything is very specific. And if you're not testing, you're simply just guessing. And guessing is really not going to be a winning strategy when it comes to your gut health, especially when you have to target things specifically for the bacteria that you have. And so basically, you go through these phases. The kill phase is the one I'm talking about today. And basically, what you do in a kill protocol phase is you have specific antimicrobials, which are supplements that target this bad bacteria to be able to kill them off. And so that is what I am currently in the process of doing myself. I did a kill protocol back in November as well. We're kind of doing a second cleanup phase right now to just get rid of everything. And then I also have a few clients going through a kill protocol right now, and it has been extremely successful. I actually just had a client come to me in her check-in today, and she's like, I am feeling so much better already. She's literally just like a few weeks into it right now. And it is really exciting to know and to get like to the root of what's going on. And so basically going back to that, like you want to have confirmation that you do need to actually do a kill protocol. Like there's no reason to like start taking these antimicrobials and waste your money, your time, your health, because it does suck to do a kill protocol sometimes as well. Like it is time consuming, it's monetarily consuming, and so you want to know that there is confirmation that you do need one. And so the way to get that is by doing a GI map. That is what I did. That is what I have my clients do to see, okay, what bacterias are high, what are low, what's going on, what is the state of the union. of your gut. And so once you kind of have that confirmation, you can basically know like, okay, would a kill phase be helpful? Would a repair phase be helpful or whatever? And so the kill phase though is based on what your findings are in your GI map on do you have some bad bacteria that needs to be killed off? Because if not, that is definitely allowing a lot of extra stress in your gut, and your gut is not going to be thriving if you are struggling with an overgrowth with this bad bacteria. And so a kill protocol is very much so temporary. It is just to get rid of this bad bacteria and kill it off. So like I mentioned, how to kill it off is through specific herbal antimicrobials. You also can do antibiotics, but those can be very abrasive. And I've heard that you can definitely have a lot of side effects from those. And it's just not a fun time. I personally can't speak to it because I have never done antibiotics for it. But for me, I'd rather go the natural route with everything and take these supplements and antimicrobials to be able to almost like blast it with a BB gun rather than just coming in with a flamethrower and removing it all at once. Would like to have that experience, the antimicrobial experience, over having a antibiotic experience. But like I said, I've only done the antimicrobial experience, and I honestly have had a really great experience with being on antimicrobials and my clients as well. So basically, when you start the antimicrobial protocol, what happens is that bacteria releases the toxins, and that means it is getting killed off, which is great, but your body has to process these toxins. And so what can kind of happen is that you do have this thing called the Herx effect, where you can maybe have some, like I put in quotes, like flu-like symptoms, like potential nausea, constipation, diarrhea, things that actually can mimic what your specific bacteria that is cultivating in your body is actually like producing. So for instance, I have H. pylori. So one thing that can happen when you have die-off symptoms is that it kind of does mimic H. pylori and what would be potential symptoms for H. pylori. And so these are temporary. They should resolve within like 1 to 2 weeks. And I always like to give my clients a warning, like this could be potentially something that happens. But if you are someone that is really good with eating enough fiber, sweating, getting enough water in, really getting those detox pathways flowing, you're less likely to experience a negative effect when it comes to the kill protocol. And if anything, you experience it for maybe a few days up to a week and it goes away. And so it means it's working. It's like kind of a rose and a thorn at the same time. But I think that if you do kind of take that into account of like, okay, this could potentially be something that does happen when I do have or go through a kill protocol, it's just kind of good to know. It's like, okay, you're not like broken, nothing's wrong, but it could be something that does pop up. The only thing that I noticed pop up for me in the past week or so has been I've been like a little bit more tired and maybe like not super motivated, but also again, like that could have been like my coming down for my birthday and just like having a couple of like busy back-to-back weeks. And so it really shouldn't be anything too intense. Again, we're almost like taking like a BB gun to these bad bacteria guys instead of like doing a full blowtorch in your gut, especially too if you work with a person that is very educated on this and they understand how to prep your body for it, how to titrate these antimicrobials up as well, and kind of knows the person as a client and how their body is detoxing and how their body does respond to stuff. You can definitely manage these symptoms / not have as many symptoms as you would if you just throw all these antimicrobials at it and just say like, peace out. Hopefully this works. Like probably not going to feel your best if you do that versus if you open up those detox pathways, you do the proper prep to put your body into a really good position. You are doing things like eating healthy and working out, like you're going to feel a lot better. But again, like this is a very, very temporary phase, and it's temporary, but for the greater good in the long term. And the kill protocol is kind of like a detox in a sense because you are killing off this bad bacteria. So of course your body's going to have a response to that. And so I think that's one thing that I definitely have just been like keeping in mind for me of like giving your body grace, making sure you're sweating, making sure you're getting enough fiber to have those, the fiber be able to flush it out. And so there's a lot of different things you can do to make yourself feel the best during a kill phase. But again, it's so worth it, at least for me, because I'm like, you know what, a couple of days up to a week of like maybe not feeling 100% to feel amazing long term, I think is totally worth it. And again, you can prep your body for it. You can do a lot of things and take other supplements too to make sure that you are flushing out the toxins properly. So basically, how long does a kill phase usually last? It can depend on the protocol and obviously like the levels of bad bacteria that you have, kind of what we're working with and what the GI map says. And it does vary obviously like by practitioner and what they would recommend for you. But typically like 4 to 8 weeks is kind of a standard kill protocol. If you are someone that maybe we are slowly titrating the antimicrobials up, like it could be a little bit longer just because we had kind of a less of a dose when we first started out. But it really does depend on the protocol. It depends on what the GI map says, how much bad bacteria you do have to kill off. If it needs to be a little bit more intense, but 4 to 8 weeks, I would say, is a pretty standard amount, kind of depending on the individual. And I mean, if you think about it, like 4 to 8 weeks of taking supplements a few times a day for the long term effect of feeling really great, I think is 100% worth it. And something that, like, yes, is like a little bit of a sacrifice, but honestly, like the antimicrobials are going to carry most of the load. Like, you're not going to have to completely change your lifestyle as a whole. Of course, like, you want to eat healthy. Of course, you want to do all these things that like you probably should be doing in the first place. And honestly, if a client comes to me and just like immediately wants to jump into a kill protocol, but they're not eating healthy, they're not working out, they're not doing anything, it's like, okay, let's like maybe do a GI map down the road and see how your body is responding and like what the gut looks like and what the gut microbiome looks like. But I think it's really important to make sure you also have the basics already in line before kind of jumping straight to a kill protocol, because you don't want to waste money of doing a GI map and going through all this stuff to like not find anything either, when it like could be a matter of you're not having enough fiber, you're eating too much, or you're not eating enough, or not working out. Like, I think it's really important to cross those basic boxes before kind of jumping to a GI map. But I would say if you're really struggling with digestion and you know like you're getting enough fiber and you know you're eating healthy, you know you're doing these healthy habits, I would say that that would be a good candidate for doing a GI map, kind of getting a little bit of a further look of what's going on and potentially heading into a kill protocol if you do get confirmation that there is something indeed going on in your gut. That's one thing I was like really happy that I did, was just getting to the answer of what is the state of the union of my gut. Because I, for so long, was struggling with symptoms. I was struggling with like bloating, constipation, and just it just felt like something was for sure off. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, well, I'm doing all the right things. Like, I'm drinking water, I'm getting my fiber in, I'm getting movement, my stress isn't super high. Like, what is going on? And honestly, I wasted so much time when I could have just done a GI map, known that I needed to kill off my H. pylori, and it would have been, done and dusted there, where it can feel very confusing. And I know this is like a lot of new stuff and the gut hasn't been talked about for a super long time, so it's not like super common knowledge at this point. And a lot of doctors too like will say, oh, it's something else, or your issues can just like take this medication and it'll go away. But instead, like, let's get to the root cause, like let's see what's actually going on. And I'm really grateful for doing that. But I also wish I would have just known about this sooner on into my gut health journey. That way I didn't have to go through as much trial and error as I did, because it was so nice to just get the H. pylori diagnosis or just the findings in my GI map back and realize like, okay, my levels are high here, needed to do a kill phase, and was really a smooth sailing process from there. But I think like the not knowing part was the worst part of the whole journey, because I just was spinning my wheels for so long, where I literally could just know like what was going on with it, doing a GI map and it coming back in a few days. Like, that would have completely changed my journey. And so I feel like I've already explained kind of how the kill protocol works or taking antimicrobials. And honestly, that is like the majority of what you need to do, is be consistent with your supplements. Make sure you are doing it for as long as your practitioner says is a good amount of time to do it. And then afterwards, you want to make sure you're also repairing your gut health, because what happens when you are killing off the bad bacteria, you also do end up killing off some of the good bacteria as well. So you have, of course, want to go through like a rebalancing phase and make sure that you are balancing your gut post kill protocol. You're not just like going out into the open, into the world with a gut that maybe isn't thriving just like it was before. I was just basically fighting off a lot of these negative particles and bacteria. It is going to take a little bit of time to get your gut to a really functioning, amazing spot again. So that's where you would do the repair protocol after the kill protocol. And then, of course, like I said, healthy lifestyle is very important to do with this. I personally, when a client is going through some sort of kill protocol or whatever, I say eating as many whole foods as you can, sweating as much as you can, not being super stressed out as much as you can, getting your steps in, doing all this stuff is only going to help you. Yes, the antimicrobials are going to carry the brunt of the load, but it is going to be really important to make sure we are doing all of these other things in the background. It's not like this magical pill where it's like, yeah, I'm going to take these antimicrobials and like everything's going to go back to normal. Like, yes, a lot of things can be resolved from it, but you do also have to change your lifestyle so that way it doesn't happen again, because there's probably a reason why you got this bad bacteria in the first place. And a lot of times it's like out of your control. Like H. pylori, you can get it from someone else that was gross at some point. Like that's out of your control. And actually, a lot of the population does have H. pylori and just doesn't know it. Or some of these things have maybe been caused by your body's response to inflammation, and maybe the extra inflammation in your gut had made it kind of a breeding ground for this bad bacteria, or potential like diet, alcohol, medications that you've taken. So a lot of different things can cause the bad bacteria. So you almost have to like get to the root cause too of like, well, why did this happen in the first place? And how can I make sure it doesn't happen again? Because you don't want to go through the antimicrobial protocol just to have it come back, right? Like you want to make sure you're getting to the root cause of why you got this in the first place. And so I think it's really important to address your entire lifestyle from a holistic view. That's at least like what I did. My gut health, of course, we got to the bottom of it of like, I have H. pylori, I have leaky gut, I have these things. Let's go through a kill protocol to kill off the H. pylori. Let's go through a repair phase to make sure the gut microbiome gets back to a really healthy place. But also like, why did we get to a point where like we were struggling so bad with gut? I maybe needed to cut back on my alcohol a little bit more. I was eating maybe some more processed sugars. So now I'm eating pretty much completely anti-inflammatory. I got off of hormonal birth control, which can definitely affect your gut microbiome. Like there's a lot of different things that if you go down the rabbit hole, like you can kind of get a little bit overwhelmed by. So I don't try to do that for my clients right off the bat. But if we can slowly work on getting to the root cause, at least killing off the bad bacteria through the protocol, I think that's a really great place to start. And then addressing the other lifestyle stuff kind of as it comes about. But you're only going to feel better on this protocol if you do a healthy lifestyle in the midst, but also not being completely like restrictive or all in or all out. I definitely will admit, like I went a little extreme when I did my first kill protocol, and it's okay during your kill protocol if you're not like 100% anti-inflammatory, if you have a glass of wine or whatever, like you still have to live your life. You still have to have fun and to be able to have the balance of things. That's something that I definitely went a little bit extreme on. I will completely admit to that. You can do these things and it's okay. And I'm doing that more kind of this second time around. But I think it's really important to be able to lock in, make sure that this bacteria is gone, because at the end of the day, like you are doing it for a reason. And especially if your GI map did confirm that this is something that you are struggling with, you don't want to go through all this for no reason either. Doing it right, doing it the right way, working with the right people, so important to do, and be able to get to the root of your gut issues. And it can literally help your symptoms out tremendously in all aspects of life. So that's kind of all I have for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I know there's probably going to be some lingering questions on kill protocols and all this stuff. And hopefully by the end of this episode, you know it's not something scary. I know the word kill can be a little bit scary. Maybe we should like rebrand it to something else. I think it's a really exciting thing. And I think that it is really amazing to know that there are these antimicrobials that can kill off this bad bacteria, and there is hope, and there's hope that you don't have to experience these symptoms forever. And so my DMs are open if you do have any further questions on this. I do have a couple of other episodes, just a few podcasts back, where I talk about my own gut health journey, as well as like other just kind of general gut health Q&A questions. But I was really excited to record this one and be able to share with you my knowledge and all of the wins too that my clients have been getting from this kill protocol phase. So hopefully you all have a good rest of your day, and I will chat with you all next week.